You already know what it feels like. You drag yourself to the gym, you put in the time, you do the sets, you go home exhausted, and then you look in the mirror weeks later and wonder if anything is actually changing. The scale barely moves, your arms look the same, your chest feels the same, and somewhere in the back of your mind a quiet, frustrating thought creeps in. Maybe this just is not working for me. That feeling is real, and if you have felt it, you are not alone. Thousands of people go through the exact same cycle every single week. They show up, they grind, they sacrifice hours of their life, and they get almost nothing back in return. Not because they are lazy, not because they are doing something wrong on purpose, but because nobody ever sat them down and told them the truth about how muscle actually grows. And that is exactly what is about to happen right now. Before we go any further though, there is a program linked in the video description below that takes everything you are about to learn and puts it into a structured step-by-step system. People who have gone through it are reporting back with some genuinely jaw-dropping results in a fraction of the time they used to spend training. If you are serious about finally making real progress, do not wait until the end of this video to check it out. The spots available right now are limited, and honestly, if you are the kind of person who says you will do it later, this probably is not for you anyway. But if you are ready to actually change things, that link is there for you. Now let us get into what nobody is telling you. Here is a number that should make you stop and think. The average person who trains without understanding the core principles of muscle hypertrophy wastes somewhere between 60 and 70% of their effort in the gym. 60 to 70%. That means more than half of every workout, every drop of sweat, every sore morning after, is essentially producing nothing. It is not building muscle, it is just fatigue, just time, just energy spent for almost no return on the investment you are making with your body. Think about what that actually means in real terms. If you train 4 days a week, and each session is an hour, that is 4 hours of your life every single week. Over a year, that is over 200 hours of training. And if 60% of it is wasted effort, you have genuinely lost 120 hours of your year. 120 hours that could have been building real muscle if you had simply understood a few key principles. That is not a small thing. That is a massive cost that nobody talks about because the fitness industry does not want you to be efficient. The longer you stay confused, the more supplements you buy, the more gym memberships you renew, the more programs you cycle through, hoping one of them will finally click. So what is actually happening inside your muscles when you train? And why does more time in the gym not automatically mean more muscle? Your muscles grow through a very specific process. When you create enough tension in a muscle fiber, your body reads that as a threat. It says, this muscle is not strong enough to handle what was just demanded of it, so I need to repair it and build it back bigger and stronger. That repair process, that rebuilding, is where muscle growth actually happens. And here is the thing that changes everything when you truly understand it. That process requires only one thing: the right stimulus. Not a long stimulus, not a 2-hour stimulus, just the right one. Studies tracking trained athletes found that muscle protein synthesis, which is the actual biological process of building new muscle tissue, peaks within a specific window after proper stimulation, and then levels off completely regardless of how much more volume you add after that point. This means that beyond a certain threshold of the right kind of effort, you are not building more muscle. You are just creating more damage that takes longer to recover from, which means you actually end up growing slower, not faster. Let that land for a second. The people spending the most time in the gym are often the ones making the least progress because they are sabotaging their own recovery window by training past the point of productive stimulus and into pure tissue breakdown without sufficient rebuilding time. They are digging a hole and then trying to fill it with more digging. Now here is where the real science gets fascinating, and where your results can change almost immediately. Research published in strength and physiology journals has consistently shown that training volume, meaning the total number of productive sets per muscle group per week, is one of the most important variables for growth. But productive is the key word there. A set only counts as productive if it is taken close to muscular failure with a load that creates genuine tension in the targeted muscle. The kind of tension where the last 2 or 3 repetitions feel genuinely hard. Most people in the gym are not training anywhere near that threshold. They pick up a weight, they do their reps comfortably, they feel a mild burn, and they move on, and then they spend 45 more minutes doing the same thing with 4 other exercises, wondering why the total session is not adding up to anything visible. The research is very clear here. 4 to 8 high-quality sets per muscle group per week, taken to or near failure with appropriate load, produces more measurable hypertrophy than 12 to 16 lazy sets, done far from failure. This means you could genuinely cut your gym time in half or more and grow faster, if you simply change the quality of effort within each set. This is not theory. Coaches working with natural athletes have tracked this in real time with real people. Beginner and intermediate lifters following a properly programmed lower volume, higher intensity approach have gained between 1 and 2 pounds of lean muscle tissue per month consistently. That might sound modest until you understand that gaining 1 pound of actual muscle per month means gaining 12 pounds of lean tissue in a year. People who thought they were hard gainers, people who thought their genetics were working against them, people who had been training for years and barely changed their physique, suddenly started seeing shirts fitting differently. Suddenly started hearing things from people they had not seen in a few months. And the sessions were shorter, not longer. Here is another piece of this that almost everyone is getting wrong. Progressive overload. You have probably heard this term before, but the way most people apply it is incomplete. They think progressive overload means adding weight to the bar every week. And while that is one form, it is just one small part of a much larger picture. Progressive overload can happen in at least 5 different ways. You can increase the weight. You can increase the number of reps with the same weight. You can decrease the rest time between sets. You can improve the range of motion. You can increase the quality and control of each repetition. Any one of these represents genuine progression that signals to your body that it needs to keep adapting and growing. What this means practically is that even when you cannot add weight, you can still be making progress. And when you track even one of these variables consistently improving over weeks and months, you have objective proof that your training is working, which is something most people never have because they are just showing up and doing the same thing over and over again expecting different results. Now let us talk about something that is silently destroying the progress of almost every person who trains without a structured plan. Recovery. Your muscle does not grow in the gym? Let that sit for a moment. The gym is just where you create the signal. The growth itself happens. Outside the gym, during sleep, during rest, during the hours you are just living your life. And if those hours are not set up to support the process your body is trying to carry out, the signal you created in the gym becomes meaningless. Sleep is the most powerful muscle-building tool that exists, and it is completely free. During deep sleep, your body releases growth hormone, repairs muscle fiber damage, and consolidates the strength adaptations from your last training session. People who sleep less than 7 hours per night on average show significantly blunted muscle growth response compared to people getting 7 to 9 hours, even when their training and nutrition are identical. Identical training, identical eating. But the sleep difference alone creates a measurable gap in results over time. Nutrition ties directly into this. You cannot build new tissue without the raw materials to build it with. Protein intake is the biggest lever most people are not pulling hard enough. The research consistently points to between 0.7 and 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight as the range that optimizes muscle protein synthesis for people actively training. Most people eating a normal diet without intentional protein focus land somewhere around half that amount and then wonder why their body is not changing despite consistent training. Total calorie intake matters too. You cannot build muscle in a significant deficit. Your body will not commit resources to building new tissue when it believes it is in a survival situation. A slight caloric surplus, even as small as 200 to 300 calories above your maintenance, combined with adequate protein, creates the ideal hormonal and metabolic environment for lean muscle growth without piling on excess body fat. The combination of all of these things, quality training stimulus, progressive overload tracked across multiple variables, adequate sleep, and calibrated nutrition, creates what researchers describe as an optimal anabolic environment. And when all of it clicks together at the same time, the results stop being subtle. They become visible. They become fast. They become the kind of thing that makes people ask you what you have been doing differently. This is not about spending more time. It is about spending the right time on the right things in the right way. And here is the truth that the fitness industry does not profit from telling you. You do not need more gym hours. You need a better system. That is exactly why the program in the description below exists. It takes everything you just heard and builds it into a specific, repeatable plan that tells you exactly what to do, when to do it, and how to track it so you know without any doubt that progress is happening. People who were stuck for years have used this exact framework and started seeing changes within the first few weeks. Not months from now, weeks. If you have been putting in the work and not seeing the results you deserve, do not keep waiting for something to change on its own. It will not. The link is right there in the description. This is the moment you either keep doing what has not been working, or you finally do something different.